Selma sprang overnight from an obscure southern town to the front pages of world newspapers. This church was headquarters in the Negro drive for the right to vote, and it was here that Martin Luther King came to lend his support to the campaign. He pointed out that from Selma's 14,000 Negroes, only a few more than 300 had been registered at the polls. When one group set out to march to the Capitol at Montgomery, the procession was broken up violently by state troopers and sheriff's deputies. Then Dr. King led another contingent through the town. This time, there is no violence. The 1,000 Negroes and 400 white ministers and civil rights workers reach the end of the bridge where the cordon of troopers stand. They are ordered to turn back. Dr. King confers with the police as the marchers hold their ground. He requests that they be allowed to pray. There are a few minutes of mounting tension. The request to pray is granted, and they kneel in the streets. Informants say that Dr. King turned his marchers at the behest of the White House, an arrangement that had been made in advance to avoid a confrontation that could only end in bloodshed.
In the 60s, many black and white Americans joined in nonviolent protest of the widespread discrimination throughout the country. Sit-ins at northern lunch counters and marches through the South drew national attention. So had the Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr. of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, who emerged as a symbol of the nonviolent movement. The confrontations were not always peaceful, and marchers were often met with police dogs, fire hoses, and sometimes even murder. Some blacks were impatient with
From Stockholm to Selma comes Martin Luther King to lead a protest march to Montgomery, 52 miles down the road.
The Selma story, the true Selma story concerning the Klan, concerning the sex orgies that the niggers committed on the Selma to Montgomery March for $2. Martin Luther King, that is being led by communists all over this great country, feels that he has the key to the White House. He has the telephone call to the White House that can get anything he wanted.
Under the protection of troopers sent in by the president, the marchers make their way at last to the steps of the Capitol, though not beyond.
There were those who said that we would get here only over their dead bodies.
Well, talk.
But all the world today knows that we are here and we are standing before the forces of power in the state of Alabama saying we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
Mrs. Viola Liuzzo, mother of 5, came from Detroit to join the march. She is murdered on a dark road outside Selma. Collie Leroy Wilkins, a 21-year-old garage mechanic, is one of 3 Klansmen charged with the murder.
I'm gonna start collecting them things one of these days.
At the trial, an FBI informer testifies he saw Wilkins shoot Mrs. Liuzzo, but it's a hung jury.
We are gonna walk non-violently and peacefully to let the nation and the world know that we are tired now.
Yes,
We've lived with slavery and segregation 345 years. We waited a long time for freedom.
Don't run.